The TWA Dome in St. Louis was a place where 13 wins and a Super Bowl title proved that the old rules of football were officially dead. It was an era defined by an offense that violated every tenet of traditional coaching. A time when you'd watch Mike Martz call daring pass plays on first down while your neighbor screamed at the television to just run the damn ball. We remember Dick Vermeil's tears during those emotional press conferences, Marshall Faulk doing things on the field that running backs simply weren't supposed to do, and Kurt Warner, the grocery store stock boy making $5.50 an hour, rising to become a Super Bowl MVP. This was a Rams team that wasn't supposed to win 5 games, yet they finished the year hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. But once the cheering stopped, the paths of these legends diverged. Some continued to win, some faced heavy losses, and one completely vanished from the game that made him a legend. Kurt Warner began his journey as an undrafted 28-year-old in 1999, a man with only 11 career pass attempts to his name when he was suddenly called to take over for an injured Trent Green. While the legend says he threw soup cans to train, his reality was working the night shift at a Hy-Vee in Iowa for $5.50 an hour, facing products on shelves to make them look uniform. He didn't watch Brett Favre from the practice squad. He was cut before the season ever started, but that rejection fueled a path through the Arena League that led back to St. Louis. That first season as a starter, Warner threw for 4,353 yards, winning both the league MVP and Super Bowl MVP after leading the Rams to a 23-16 victory over the Titans. He'd win a second league MVP in 2001, and by the time his career ended, Warner had amassed over 32,000 passing yards, 208 touchdowns, and a trip to Canton as a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 2017. 3 Super Bowl appearances with 2 different franchises, a grocery store stock boy who became one of the greatest postseason quarterbacks in NFL history. Today at 54, Warner hasn't slowed down. He's built a media empire. Since 2010, he has been a studio analyst for NFL Network, appearing on NFL Game Day Morning. In 2018, he became the full-time radio analyst for Westwood One's Monday Night Football coverage. And in 2025, he served as the lead analyst for YouTube's first-ever live NFL broadcast. But beyond the broadcast booth, Warner and Brenda have grown the First Things First Foundation into a powerhouse of service, furnishing homes for single mothers and ensuring families have housing before the holidays. From 2015 to 2021, he also coached high school quarterbacks, first at Desert Mountain High School with his son Cade, then at Brophy College Preparatory with his son EJ, proving that the grocery clerk never stopped stocking the shelves of those in need, whether on camera or in the community. Marshall Faulk was the quarterback in a running back's body, a weapon so versatile that defenses had to rewrite their playbooks just to slow him down. In 1999, he rushed for 1,381 yards and added another 1,048 through the air, becoming the engine that made the greatest show on turf impossible to stop. That season ended with a Super Bowl ring and the first of 3 consecutive NFL Offensive Player of the Year awards. He'd win league MVP in 2000, and by the time the injuries caught up, Faulk had amassed over 19,000 yards from scrimmage and 136 total touchdowns. The 2011 Hall of Fame inductee didn't just change how running backs were used. He changed what teams believed was possible from the position. After reconstructive knee surgery ended his playing career in 2006, Faulk became a fixture on NFL Network. That broadcasting run hit a major roadblock in 2017, but the last few years have seen him pivot back to the sidelines. Now at 52, he just made waves in the college football world. After spending the 2024 season as the running backs coach at Colorado under Deion Sanders, Faulk was officially named head football coach at Southern University on December 1, 2025. The New Orleans native returned to his home state with a 3-year contract and an ambitious plan to rebuild the Jaguars program. For the Hall of Famer who revolutionized the dual-threat running back position, this marks his first head coaching opportunity at any level, a chance to prove that winners win while mentoring the next generation of HBCU talent. Mike Jones was never the loudest name on that Rams defense, but he became the most important when it mattered most. An undrafted free agent out of Missouri in 1997, Jones bounced through 3 NFL teams before finding a home in St. Louis. By 1999, he had settled into the role of steady linebacker, a tackler who rarely missed, and a leader who kept the defense aligned. That championship season, he recorded 77 tackles and showed up in every game that counted. Then came Super Bowl XXXIV. With the Rams clinging to a 23-16 lead, Titans receiver Kevin Dyson caught a slant at the 5-yard line with 6 seconds left. One completion away from overtime. Jones wrapped him up at the 1-yard line. The ball never crossed the plane. 1 tackle, 1 yard short, 1 championship saved. It remains the most iconic defensive play in Super Bowl history. At 56, Jones didn't chase NFL glory after retirement. He returned to Missouri to grind through high school coaching, winning a state championship at Hazelwood East in 2008. After a brief stint coaching linebackers at Southern University, he spent 6 years as head coach at Lincoln University from 2011 to 2016, building a program with the same fundamentals that defined the tackle. He then joined St. Louis University High School, where he mentored young men until his departure in May 2021. Jones has continued his work through a foundation dedicated to helping disadvantaged youth in Missouri. The man who saved the championship with 1 yard to go built a legacy measured 1 practice, 1 player, and 1 season at a time. Mark Bulger was the man who stepped into the impossible shadow of Kurt Warner and somehow made it work. A 6th-round pick out of West Virginia in 2000, Bulger waited 3 years for his shot. When it came in 2002, he threw for 1,826 yards and just 7 starts, posting a passer rating of 101.5 that announced he belonged. By 2003, the job was his for good. Over the next 6 seasons, Bulger threw for over 22,000 yards and 122 touchdowns, earning 2 Pro Bowl selections and leading the Rams to a division title in 2003. His 2006 campaign was his best: 4,301 yards, 24 touchdowns, and a franchise that still believed it could recapture the magic of the Greatest Show era. But the offensive line crumbled around him, and Bulger absorbed hit after hit until his body gave out. He was sacked 265 times during his career, a toll that ended his playing days after the 2009 season. Today, at 48, Bulger found a second life on the ice. He founded T-Line Nashville, a premier sports bar and curling facility in Tennessee. And he doesn't just own it, he competes. Bulger plays on the World Curling Tour, and in April 2025, his venue hosted the first ever Curling All-Star Game. But his real passion lives beyond the rink. Through the Mark Bulger Foundation, established in 2007 with an initial donation of $1.342 million, he's funding military funerals for fallen soldiers, supporting Operation Underground Railroad's mission to rescue children from sex trafficking, and donating to causes like West Virginia University Medicine Children's Hospital, where he contributed $100,000. The quarterback who took too many hits now slides stones instead of throwing spirals, and saves lives instead of games. Zahir Hakim was the human spark plug of The Greatest Show, a 4th-round speedster out of San Diego State who made the TWA Dome feel like a video game. While the league focused on Bruce and Holt, Hakim was the man who turned a simple reverse or a muffed punt into a 60-yard track meet. His 1999 season was a masterclass in efficiency, averaging a staggering 18.8 yards per catch and scoring 8 receiving touchdowns, second on the team only to Isaac Bruce. He famously became just the 4th player in Rams history to score 4 touchdowns in a single game during a demolition of Cincinnati, a performance that included 3 receiving scores and an 84-yard punt return. By 2000, his dominance on special teams was officially recognized with a first-team All-Pro selection as a punt returner. Today, at 48, he is a legend who remains a heartbeat of the city where it all began. While he has previously paced the sidelines as a coach for the St. Louis Battlehawks, as of late 2025, Hakeem has shifted his primary focus from the playbook to the community. His true masterpiece is the As Hakeem Foundation. For years, Hakeem kept a heavy secret. His father was incarcerated for his entire NFL career. Today, he uses that lived experience to run the Land of Oz, a mission dedicated to providing scholarships and support for children whose lives have been fractured by the prison system. The man who once averaged a staggering 18.8 yards per catch in the 1999 season is now dedicated to ensuring no child in his community has to run their race alone. Ricky Proehl was the ultimate veteran safety valve, the man who caught the passes others couldn't afford to drop. In an incredible 17-year career that saw him suit up for 6 different organizations, his defining moment came in the 1999 NFC Championship. With less than 5 minutes left, Proehl hauled in the 30-yard strike that sent St. Louis to their first Super Bowl. He'd go on to win a second ring with the 2006 Colts, retiring as a 2-time champion who proved that Pro's Pro wasn't just a cliche, it was a way of life. Today, at 57, he has traded the jersey for the title of boss. After a successful decade-long run as a receivers coach, reaching Super Bowl 50 with the Panthers, Proehl has turned his focus to the next generation. He and his wife Kelly split their time between Greensboro and Charleston, managing Prolific Park, a massive 22-acre sports complex in North Carolina. For Ricky, seeing a kid find their confidence on his fields is a legacy as meaningful as any touchdown he caught in the TWA Dome. Isaac Bruce, famously known as the Reverend, was the technician whose precise route running made the greatest show a masterpiece. His journey was fueled by the sting of rejection. Originally signed to play at Purdue, he was turned away due to low SAT scores, forcing him to grind through West Los Angeles and Santa Monica junior colleges before finally making his mark at Memphis. As a second-round pick in '94, he didn't waste time. By his second season, he exploded for 1,781 yards, a total that would have been an NFL record if not for Jerry Rice. When the championship window finally opened in 1999, Bruce was the heartbeat of the passing game, earning second-team All-Pro honors and his second of 4 career Pro Bowls. He finished that legendary season with 12 touchdowns and 1,165 yards, but none were bigger than the 73-yard strike in Super Bowl XXXIV that gave the Rams the lead for good. Today at 53, the 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, whose number 80 hangs in the rafters in St. Louis, has never forgotten the long road he had to travel. As of late 2025, he remains a pillar of the St. Louis community through the Isaac Bruce Foundation. His work has evolved far beyond basic clinics. His Flight 300 program provides one-way airfare for students who have earned college scholarships but can't afford the travel to get there, a direct reflection of his own struggle to find a way to junior college decades ago. From hosting his annual Gridiron Gala in October 2025 to funding the Isaac Bruce Foundation Scholarship for local high school seniors, he remains the gold standard for how a legend uses his gold jacket to open doors for others. Trent Green was the man originally destined to lead the revolution. After signing a $17.5 million contract to reunite with Mike Martz in 1999, his season ended in a single preseason moment when Rodney Harrison's hit tore his ACL. While he famously watched from the sidelines as Kurt Warner became a star, Green's own second act in Kansas City proved he was a franchise talent in his own right, racking up 3 straight 4,000-yard seasons. In a fitting twist, he returned to St. Louis in 2008, signing a 3-year deal to back up Mark Bulger and close the what-if chapter by finally wearing the Rams uniform in a regular season game. He retired in 2009, bringing his 15-year career full circle in the city where his greatest opportunity had slipped away. Today at 55, he has built one of the most stable post-career lives in the NFL, Since retiring in 2009, he has been a mainstay in the broadcast booth. As of late 2025, he remains a lead game analyst for CBS Sports. His broadcasting career has now lasted just as long as his playing career, 16 years and counting, proving that his deep tactical understanding of Martz's offense made him the perfect voice to explain the modern, pass-heavy NFL to millions of viewers every Sunday. Kevin Carter was the terrifying engine of the 1999 defense. As the 6th overall pick in '95, he was a first-round investment that paid massive dividends, leading the entire NFL with 17 sacks during the championship run. That performance earned him first-team All-Pro honors and a trip to the Pro Bowl. But his most impressive stat was his durability. He played 14 seasons without ever missing a single game due to injury. Today at 52, the man who spent his Sundays taking down quarterbacks now spends them breaking down their footwork. He has become a mainstay on our screens as a lead analyst for CBS Sports Network. But if you ask him what he's most proud of, he won't point to his Super Bowl ring. He'll point to his foundation's Waiting for Wishes events, which have raised over $2.5 million for Make-A-Wish Middle Tennessee, proving the NFL's former sack leader has one of the biggest hearts in the game. DeMarco Farr was the vocal engine of that defensive line, the undrafted misfit from the University of Washington who proved that leverage beat bulk every time. At just 6'1", he used elite speed to record 8.5 sacks during the Super Bowl season, earning a Pro Bowl nod and cementing his status as a Rams legend. He played every single snap of his 7-year career in a Rams uniform, becoming the soul of the locker room. Today, at 54, he is arguably the most recognizable voice in Rams media. As of late 2025, he has completed 16 seasons as a lead analyst and sideline reporter for the Rams radio network. Whether he's on the air in Los Angeles or guest hosting in St. Louis, Farr's tactical breakdowns remain the gold standard for fans who want to understand the why behind the win. Dick Vermeil was the emotional anchor who proved you could go home again. A 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, his journey began with a bend to my will approach in Philadelphia that took the Eagles to their first ever Super Bowl. But the relentless 100-hour work weeks eventually led to his exit in 1982, citing burnout. After 15 years away in the broadcast booth, he returned to the sidelines in 1997 at the age of 60, inheriting a Rams team that had not seen a winning season in nearly a decade. Vermeil's tears became the hallmark of the 1999 season, not of weakness, but of a man who finally saw his "nobody drowns in sweat" philosophy manifest in a 13-3 record. Just days after hoisting the Lombardi Trophy following the victory in Super Bowl XXXIV, he famously stepped away at the absolute top, retiring as the only coach to be named Coach of the Year at the high school, community college, Division I, and NFL levels. Today, at 89, the man who once lived on coffee and film study hasn't slowed down, but he has shifted his focus. As of late 2025, the 2022 Hall of Fame inductee resides primarily at the ranch, a 114-acre homestead in Chester County, Pennsylvania, where he and his wife of over 60 years, Carol, still maintain a hand-built log cabin lifestyle. But his true second act is Vermeil Wines. In August 2025, his Napa Valley tasting room was once again voted the #1 destination in the county, a remarkable feat for a boutique winery. He famously tells visitors that he didn't enter the industry to make money, but to make wine, sourcing fruit from the same Calistoga soil his family has farmed for generations. Whether he's giving motivational speeches to corporate leaders or being honored by the Salvation Army as the 2025 Community Partner of the Year, Vermeil remains a living reminder that the best endings happen after you think the story is over. Brenda Warner was never just a spectator in the Kurt Warner story. She was the architect of the resilience that made the Cinderella run possible. Long before the Super Bowl rings, Brenda was a United States Marine, a nurse in training, and a single mother living on food stamps in her parents' basement. Her life had been a series of high-stakes battles, a hardship discharge from the Corps to care for her son, Zach, after a tragic accident left him with brain damage and partial blindness, and the devastating loss of both her parents in a 1996 tornado. When the world saw a grocery clerk stocking shelves at Hy-Vee, Brenda saw a partner who was willing to embrace her 2 children, including a special needs son that most men would have run from. Her faith and Marine-honed grit became the backbone of the household, famously prompting her to tell Kurt during his leanest years, "You take on the hill in front of you." Kurt adopted both children after their 1997 wedding, and together they would add 5 more to build their family of 7. Today, at 58, she remains the co-pilot and creative catalyst of the First Things First Foundation, which she and Kurt founded in 2001. In late 2025, Brenda celebrated a historic milestone, the 25th anniversary of Warner's warm-up. What began as a small coat drive at the TWA Dome has grown into a silver anniversary powerhouse that has distributed over 300,000 coats across the bi-state region. As of December 2025, she is still a sought-after speaker and a New York Times best-selling author, known for her grace and grit message that resonates at women's leadership summits and healthcare conferences. Whether she is advocating for young adults at Treasure House, the Glendale residential community she co-founded for people with intellectual disabilities, or furnishing homes for single mothers, Brenda continues to live by Matthew 6:33. She remains proof that the most powerful platform for service is often built in the darkest of valleys. London Fletcher was the Iron Man of the NFL, a player whose durability and production defied every law of professional football. Coming out of John Carroll University, a small Division III school in Ohio, Fletcher wasn't just overlooked, he was completely ignored in the 1998 draft. But the Rams saw something in the linebacker who had recorded an eye-popping 202 tackles in a single college season. As an undrafted rookie, he didn't just make the team, he became the heartbeat of the defense, leading the 1999 championship squad with 138 tackles and earning the Rams Rookie of the Year award. Fletcher would go on to play 16 seasons without ever missing a single game due to injury. He finished his career with 256 consecutive games played and 215 consecutive starts, a record for a linebacker that still stands today. Despite being a 4-time Pro Bowler and 2-time second-team All-Pro who recorded over 2,000 career tackles, a mark surpassed only by Ray Lewis, Fletcher remained the league's most underrated superstar for over a decade. Today at 50, the 2019 College Football Hall of Fame inductee has traded his helmet for a headset, but his work ethic remains as relentless as ever. As of late 2025, he is a premier voice in the Washington, D.C. sports world, serving as the lead color commentator for the Washington Commanders radio broadcasts. While he was once again a modern-era nominee for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026, he narrowly missed the semifinalist cut in November 2025. But for the man who went undrafted out of a Division III school and recorded 138 tackles in his second season during the 1999 championship run, 90 on defense alone, before going on to play 256 consecutive games, the Iron Man knows that the long game is the only one worth playing. He continues his mission through London's Bridge Foundation, waiting for the gold jacket that his 2 decades of perfect attendance rightfully earned him. Dre Bly was the rookie ball hawk who turned the Rams secondary into a no-fly zone. He arrived in St. Louis in 1999 with a resume that was already historic. At North Carolina, he became the only player in UNC history and one of only 3 in ACC history to earn consensus first-team All-American honors 3 times. As a redshirt freshman in 1996, he became the first freshman defensive player in college football history to earn those honors, famously snagging 3 interceptions in a single game against Georgia Tech. As a second-round pick, Bly didn't wait to make an impact with the Rams, recording 4 interceptions during the championship run, 3 in the regular season, and a crucial fourth-quarter pick in the NFC Championship game that led to the game-winning touchdown. He finished his 11-year career with 43 interceptions, 2 Pro Bowl selections, and a reputation as one of the smoothest, most instinctual corners to ever play the game. Today at 48, his career has come full circle to the highest level of coaching. As of late 2025, Bly serves as the assistant defensive backs coach for the New York Jets, bringing the same ball-hawking instincts to the sideline that made him a 2014 College Football Hall of Fame inductee. But his true legacy is the one he's watching on Sundays. While his son, Jordan Bly, signed with the Giants as an undrafted free agent in 2025, the family name remains a powerhouse. Dre's nephew, Josh Downs, is currently a star receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. Whether he is coaching the next generation of defensive backs or supporting his family, the man who once patrolled the TWA Dome continues to shape the game he mastered. Torrey Holt, famously nicknamed Big Game, was the youngest and most explosive member of the greatest show on turf. The 6th overall pick in 1999 out of NC State, he arrived with a refined skill set that earned him the team's Rookie of the Year award after catching a touchdown in Super Bowl XXXIV. Holt didn't just have speed, he was a technician who revolutionized the position with a record-shattering pace. He remains the only player in NFL history to record 1,300 or more receiving yards in 6 consecutive seasons, and once held the league record for the most receiving yards in a single decade. A 7-time Pro Bowler and 2003 First-Team All-Pro, he led the NFL in receiving yards twice and in receptions once, finishing a 10-year Rams tenure as one of the most prolific wideouts the game has ever seen. Today at 49, he has built a legacy centered on mentorship and family. As of late 2025, Torrey remains a vice president at Holt Brothers, Inc., a multi-million-dollar construction firm in North Carolina that recently celebrated the completion of major projects like the Gibson Play Plaza in Raleigh. His true passion, however, is the Holt Brothers Foundation. Born from the pain of losing their mother to cancer when they were young, Torrey and his brother Terrence used the foundation to fund Kids Can, a program that provides emotional support for children whose parents are battling the disease. While he spent years coaching his son Braden at Heritage High School, his attention has now turned to his daughter's soccer careers and his ongoing business ventures. In November 2025, Holt was officially named a Modern Era semifinalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026 for the 12th consecutive year. After finishing in the top 7 of the final vote last year, the man who dominated the 2000s is closer than ever to the gold jacket that would finally reunite him with Isaac Bruce in Canton. Orlando Pace was the Pancake Man, the 6'7", 325-pound shield who made the greatest show on turf a structural possibility. As the first overall pick in '97, Pace arrived with a legendary reputation from Ohio State, where he famously never allowed a single sack during his final 2 seasons, and finished 4th in the Heisman voting, the highest for a lineman in decades. He didn't just block, he redefined the position by sprinting downfield to flatten defenders, a technique so dominant that his college team reportedly awarded him 80 pancake blocks in a single year. In St. Louis, Pace became a 7-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time First-Team All-Pro, serving as the cornerstone for an offensive line that protected the league's MVP for 3 consecutive seasons. Warner in '99 and 2001, Faulk in 2000. By the time he retired, he was recognized on the NFL's 2000 All-Decade team as the premier left tackle of the century. Today at 50, the 2016 Hall of Famer has traded the turf for a legacy of community impact. In August 2025, the Associated Press cemented his greatness by naming him a first-team AP All-Time All-American for their 100th anniversary. He remains deeply embedded in Missouri, not just as an elder statesman, but as a football dad. His son, Landon Pace, is a standout tight end at St. Louis University High School who is forging his own path. In December 2024, Landon officially signed to play for the Wyoming Cowboys. Whether he is appearing as a spokesman for Our Little Haven or cheering from the stands in Laramie, the man who built a career on broad shoulders is now focused on lifting up the next generation. Jeff Wilkins, or Money as the St. Louis faithful called him, was the steady hand that ensured the greatest show always walked away with points. He remains the Rams' all-time leading scorer, a Pro Bowler who once tied the NFL record by knocking down 39 field goals in a single season. In Super Bowl XXXIV, he accounted for 11 of the team's 23 points, a quiet but vital contribution to the franchise's greatest night. Today at 53, he has built a successful second act away from the spotlight. Wilkins resides in the St. Louis area, working as a senior mortgage consultant and remaining a fixture at local charity events. Even decades after his final kick, the man they called Money is still a valued asset in the city he helped crown as champions. One offense, 20 completely different endings. That is what happens when the revolution ends and the TWA Dome goes silent. The greatest show on turf didn't just change how football was played. They changed what we believed was possible in this game. They were proof that a grocery clerk, an emotional coach, and a group of misfits could become a dynasty. We want to hear from you. Where were you when Isaac Bruce caught that 73-yard touchdown? Were you at the bar, in your living room, or at the grocery store? Drop a comment below and let's relive those moments together. If you like this video, we think you will love one of the ones on your screen. Until next time, remember, the impossible is only one play away.